Good evening, I'm Michael and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. The number of active COVID-19 cases are slowly falling as the number of recoveries exceed the number of new cases. Malaysia may have flattened the COVID-19 infection curve thanks to the movement control order. However, Health Ministry Director General Dr Noor Hisham Abdullah said that the government is still working to reduce the number of new infections.
Jadi kalau kita lihat graf, mungkin kita dah tercapai iaitu melandaikan lingkungan untuk kes-kes yang meledak. Tetapi kita masih dalam perjuangan untuk mengurangkan kes, kalau boleh untuk menamatkan kes jangkitan COVID-19 ini.
Meanwhile, Malaysia today reported 168 recoveries and 334 new COVID-19 cases in the past 24 hours. This puts the total number of cases at 4,817, with a slight reduction in active cases to 2,464. This means over 47% of the cases have recovered to date. Dr Noor Hisham also revealed one new death, bringing the death toll to 77.
So first is that our JP Morgan has actually predicted that we will have a peak on the 14th, that's tomorrow, 6,300 cases. Today we have seen our cases 4,817. Our target is to have the cases less than 6,300 cases as predicted by JP Morgan. I think we are certainly doing much better, and perhaps tomorrow we will know perhaps we are less than 5,000 cases tomorrow. I think I'm just predicting tomorrow. Hopefully, touch wood, that we can bring it down to 5,000 cases, which means our action of MCO 1 and 2 is working. And this is a sign that showing that there's a succeeding sign that we are able to contain as well as reduce the cases, flattening the curve.
Some people just can't seem to stay at home as they continue to leave their houses with no valid reason. The number of those being caught is on the rise. The number of those arrested for violating the movement control order is on the rise, with authorities nabbing over 1,400 people on Sunday alone. Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the current trends mean the police can no longer compromise when it comes to enforcing the MCO.
PDRM telah menahan seramai 1,471 individu yang engkar perintah PKP ini, yang merangkumi 949 individu yang telah pun dikenakan kompaun sebanyak RM1,000, manakala seramai 503 individu direman dan 19 individu dijamin polis.
This means the total number of those arrested for violating the MCO stands at 8,647, almost double the amount of COVID-19 cases in Malaysia.
Semalam juga sebanyak 51 individu telah dituduh di mahkamah di atas kesalahan mengingkari PKP.
On Friday, Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin announced that the MCO would be extended for another 2 weeks until April 28th. The decision was made after obtaining feedback from the Health Ministry on the COVID-19 outbreak in Malaysia. If you're hoping to get a haircut anytime soon, I have bad news for you. The government has retracted its plan to allow barbershops and hairdressers to operate. Exemptions for businesses providing haircuts and optometry services during the movement control order period has been revoked by Putrajaya. Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob said this was decided by Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin today.
Jadi saya kira ini menjawab segala persoalan yang ditimbulkan oleh rakyat, maka Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri sendiri telah memutuskan bahawa tidak ada lagi isu yang berkaitan dengan soal kedai gunting rambut dan sebagainya, kerana ianya tidak dibenarkan beroperasi sepanjang PKP dilaksanakan.
Previously, the International Trade and Industry Ministry published a list of sectors that will be allowed to apply to reopen under strict health and movement control guidelines, including hair salons. However, the plan was not well received. Even the Malaysian Hairdressing Association urged the government to reconsider the plan, citing concerns over COVID-19 exposure. Meanwhile, the government will also not allow any Ramadan bazaars to operate throughout the MCO period. After completing a job, a delivery rider decided to unwind by playing some tunes on a piano he saw sitting quietly in the lobby. However, he didn't know someone was recording the whole thing, and now he has gone viral. They say dance like nobody's watching, but in the case of Amirullah, he played the piano like no one was watching, but little did he know he would soon win the hearts of thousands of Malaysians across the country. Twitter user Izzat Yuan, who posted the video, remarked how Amirullah made the best of his time while waiting for a customer to pick up a delivery by playing his heart out on a piano. This came as a pleasant surprise to Amirullah, who responded by saying he didn't expect anyone to be watching. The self-taught pianist explained that after making a delivery, he saw the opportunity to liven up the place, which was very quiet. At the time of reporting, the video has already been liked close to 70,000 times. As the video spread, someone recognized Amirullah as the person who performed at their wedding. Replying to tweets, Amirullah recalled how he was often asked what grade he was as a pianist, but he always felt ashamed to reveal he did not get formal training. Instead, he taught himself using online resources and by watching videos on YouTube. He also took the opportunity to ask people to pray for all delivery riders and frontliners as the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic. He said he hopes the world will get better soon. With enough people like Amirullah, the world will certainly get better soon. Should government MPs be appointed as heads of GLCs? Former Minister Rafida Aziz has expressed concern over the matter.
Rafida Aziz today expressed her frustration with the move by the Perikatan National Government to appoint MPs to head the government-linked companies GLCs. In a Facebook post, the former minister lamented that the government should go back to the basics of governing to achieve the nation and Rakyat's aspirations. Integrity, honesty and accountability, among others, are the formula for good governance, and not merely by installing individuals in any vacant or created post, she said. Yesterday, the de facto law minister Taqiyuddin Hassan said MPs who currently do not hold positions in the government will be made heads of GLCs. With the latest announcements amid the COVID-19 pandemic, Rafida said the country is going backward when a government representative is talking about cushy posts for MPs. Meanwhile, G25, a group comprising former top civil servants, said PM needs to ensure political appointees meet the proper criteria as set out in the GLC Transformation Programme (GTP). In a statement, G25 founding member Muhammad Sharif Muhammad Qasim said it should be noted that the GTP was launched at a time when there was very low confidence on the government's management of the economy. G25 added, clarification by the PM will determine whether the private sector will continue to be confident about Malaysia after the pandemic.
The International Trade and Industry Ministry's website simply couldn't cope following a huge spike in people trying to access it to apply for MCO exemptions.
The International Trade and Industry Ministry MITI website has crashed this morning after opening applications for movement control order exemptions for certain non-essential services. In view of this, it said the application system would be shut down from 2 to 4 p.m. today for reconfiguration. In a statement today, MITI said there were more than 176,000 visitors to its website between 9 and 11 a.m. when the applications were open. Many irate applicants have complained to MITI on Twitter. Some report that the system crashed as early as 9 a.m. According to MITI, the number of visitors was too high and does not correlate with the number of businesses in the sectors approved for exemptions. The reconfigurations of its website will ensure only businesses are allowed to access the application system. As of 1:30 p.m., the website could not be accessed. This is not the first time the MITI website has crashed. On March 19, the website crashed after a flood of applications by essential service providers. On April 10, MITI announced additional sectors will be exempted from some MCO restrictions, including law firms, firms in the automotive sector, and even hairdressers. Exemptions are not automatic, and any firm wishes to be exempted must submit an application through the MITI website. There are no other application methods.
Coming up next, COVID-19 has changed how people around the world celebrate different holidays. Meanwhile, Boris Johnson has been allowed to leave the hospital. All that and more after this. It was Easter Sunday, but for Americans who have been ordered to stay at home, it was Easter like no other. Americans spent their Easter Sunday largely confined to their homes by the still raging coronavirus pandemic, as the US death toll neared 22,000, with more than 500,000 confirmed cases nationwide. With 42 states imposing strict stay-at-home orders, most churches were shuttered, although many erected crosses outside and even offered drive-through services, conducted by priests, pastors and ministers wearing latex gloves and surgical masks. Other Americans turned to online church services to mark the holiest day in the Christian calendar. In some states, attempts by authorities to clamp down on Easter services have sparked legal battles over the rights of the government to prevent Americans from attending church, even under pandemic conditions. On Sunday, the Kansas Supreme Court upheld an execution order barring more than 10 people from gathering for religious and funeral services. The decision, a victory for Democratic Governor Laura Kelly, followed an attempt by a Republican-led legislative body to overturn the order. The United States, with the world's third-largest population, has recorded more fatalities from COVID-19 than any other country, nearly 22,000 as of Sunday evening, according to a Reuters tally. Roughly 2,000 deaths a day were reported for the last 4 days in a row, the largest number in and around New York City. Even that is viewed as understated, as New York is still figuring out how best to include a surge in deaths at home in its official statistics. As the death toll mounted, US President Donald Trump mulled when the country might begin to see a return to normality. With the US reeling from a ravaged economy and staggering number of job losses, politicians on Sunday debated when to ease the nearly nationwide lockdown to contain the spread of the coronavirus. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo among them.
We want to reopen as soon as possible. The caveat is we need to be smart in the way we reopen. What does smart mean? It means a coordinated approach, a regional approach, and a safe approach. Nobody wants to pick between a public health strategy and an economic strategy.
Boris Johnson, perhaps one of the world's most high-profile people to catch COVID-19, has been discharged from the hospital.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was discharged from a London hospital on Sunday after spending 8 days there battling the new coronavirus. Speaking on Twitter, he thanked National Health Service staff for the care he received.
Good afternoon. I've today left hospital after a week in which the NHS has saved my life, no question. It's hard to find words to express my debt, but before I come to that, I want to thank everyone in the entire UK for the effort and the sacrifice you have made and are making.
In a statement, a government spokesman said the Prime Minister would not immediately be returning to work and thanked the staff at St. Thomas Hospital for the, quote, brilliant care he received. Johnson's office have said he will continue his recovery from COVID-19 at his country's resident Chequers. The 55-year-old was hospitalized on April 5th, suffering from persistent symptoms of the disease. He was then moved into intensive care on April 6th, where he remained for 3 nights. While Johnson has been out of action, his ministers have come under mounting pressure to explain why the national death toll is rising so fast. The British government has had to defend its response, which has included carrying out far less testing than in some other European countries and ordering a lockdown that came comparatively late. Ministers have also resisted apologizing for a shortage of protective gear for hospital staff.
And that is all from me today. Happy Vaisakhi and Puthandu Varthagal to all those celebrating. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching.